Hi and welcome to this tarot pull. So the topic for today is self-love. So how can you bring more self-love into your life? So we have on the left, we've got Smokey Quartz. In the middle, we've got Carnelian. And on the right, we've got Clear Quartz. So have a look. See, which crystal that you're drawn to, and then I'll do an individual reading for each pack. Right, welcome to pile 2, which is Smokey Quartz, and the 3 cards that I've pulled, if you chose this pile, if you were drawn to Smokey Quartz. So the first card is Universal Heart, and this is from the Universal Love Oracle deck, which all have beautiful meanings. So I will, okay, this is quite a short one actually for this card. So if you look at the card, I think it's Jesus. I'm not sure if it is, because that depends on the person who designed it. But I think he kind of looks like Jesus. So the meaning behind this card, so if you've picked this pile for self-love, is, so stare into the face on the card. What is reflecting back to you? Meditate upon this image, and after a while, you'll see that the human face disappears and all you see is stars and galaxies. A space of infinite creation, possibilities lie beyond your thoughts. The Universal Heart card reflects the infinite creativity and endless possibilities within you. All is possible for you. It's simply up to you to choose. So I think with this card, there could be 2 things. So it could be maybe look at yourself, which I know can be quite difficult. Look in the mirror and just really look at yourself. What do you see? What is beautiful about you? What is something that you really like about yourself? So rather than maybe looking in the mirror, or because self-love's about many things, that's just an example, but rather than possibly thinking you don't like this or you don't like that, if it is that, or if you maybe want to improve your self-care, maybe you can do things more related to beauty. Or maybe also when we think about this card, because it talks about the universe and you can see galaxies. Now, if you look in the eyes, you can see that I'm drawn to the green in the middle of his forehead. Sometimes when we need to practice self-care, we want to practice self-care, we want to bring more love, self-love into our lives. Sometimes if we look beyond ourselves, you think about the universe, we're like tiny specks in the universe. So I suppose it's kind of, I'm trying to say is, if you can shift your perspective and also think about the miracle that it took for us to be here. The chances of us to be here, and if you can incorporate that. But also maybe you can meditate, maybe you can look at this image and meditate and feel what it is that you need to bring into your life. And also because it's the colour blue, which is your throat chakra and your third eye, again, meditation is very good for your third eye. But also maybe you feel that you need more self-care and you need to be able to have space to do that. So maybe it's voicing that you want your self-care. Maybe it's talking about how you can bring more self-love. Maybe it's asking people, how do you create more self-love and self-care? So, which I think is quite interesting. And then the second one is solutions. So this card it's about healing. So this, if you can see in the picture, you've got the angel and he is pouring water through a vessel. Now, water is our emotions. Also, he is partly stepped in the water, again, emotions. And then we've also got this beautiful light. We've got the sun, we've got all the mountains. So maybe you emotionally need this. Maybe you need to care more about your feelings and being able to express your feelings. Maybe with this one, it's about compromising. So maybe it's having a balance as well, because this card is very much about balance. So if you can only have 5 minutes to incorporate self-love into your life, so that could be like last night, for example, I put, not that you can really tell, but I put those, those sticky kind of eye things under my eye, and I went to sleep with them, and I woke up this morning and they were all dry because obviously they're soaked in solution. Maybe it's having a bath, maybe it's painting your nails. If there's any men watching, maybe it's exercising, maybe your self-care or your self-love is having a shave, like going to a barber's and having a traditional shave. I'm being very gender specific, so I'm sorry. Maybe it's just reading a book. Maybe it's watching a really nice film. Maybe it's carving out that time to eat really nice food. Maybe it's just simply speaking nice words to yourself, because our mind doesn't know the difference between, it'll recognize negative thoughts and positive thoughts. But obviously, if we are only thinking negative things about ourselves, then this can start to manifest in our body. Equally, if we start to be more positive about ourselves, then more positive things will happen. But this card is about balance. It's compromise. It's patience with yourself as well. And also, it takes time to develop, people call it like a toolkit for self-love and self-care. And also it's about forgiving as well. So if you need to forgive yourself, if you need to forgive other people, if you need to just kind of like let go of anything that you're holding in your body. Because generally when I do Reiki, you're drawn to where people, where their chakras can be out of balance. And generally we feel different things in our body. So if it's in your throat, maybe you need to release it, talk about it, be more creative. If it's your solar plexus, maybe it's about personal power and taking control of your self-care and your self-love. But it's, for me, the key is kind of balance. So it's having a balance to be able to have the time to be able to do it. And even if it's just 5 minutes a day, it's really important, is self-care and self-love. It's all, for me, is kind of part of the same thing, because it helps with your mental well-being. Again, maybe it's going out for a walk on your lunch hour. Maybe, I mean, today's not very nice in England, in Leeds, but I'm going to go out with the dog. But, maybe it's, like autumn is beautiful. So maybe it's just having that time to listen to a podcast when you go for a walk. Maybe it's just looking at things around you. There's many, many, many different things that you can do. And then this card, which I think kind of rounds it off as well, is if you are already practicing self-care and self-love, then this card is about congratulating yourself. And it's about, because in the picture you can see she's giving out roses. Everyone's kind of looks really happy and they're clapping her and they're like, well done. So maybe it's be pleased with what you're doing, congratulate yourself, because I don't think we tend to do that. If someone gives you a compliment for the work that you've done, be like, oh, thank you. Compliment yourself as well. Basically, I'm doing the best that I can. I'm doing really well, given what's going on in the world. I think self-care and self-love is very important. So just remember to be proud of what you've done, be proud of what you've achieved. And, just eat, like I say, even if it's 5 minutes a day, a bath, reading a few pages from a book, listening to music as well, because I love music. Whatever it is that you do and makes you feel better, then congratulate yourself and just be really proud of yourself. And also other people are proud of you too. So I hope you enjoyed that message, and I'm going to move on to the next one now. Welcome to pile 2, which is Carnelian. And if you chose this pile, the 3 cards we've got is Heaven on Earth, we've got the Magician, and we've got the Page of Cups. So let's just have a look and see what is Heaven on Earth. Okay. A beautiful card. I'll show it to you. And it's showing, for me, these beautiful flowers. I mean, the beautiful red flowers. I don't know what kind of flowers they are, but it's such a beautiful image. So both heaven and hell exist on earth, but only in our minds, for both are created through our thoughts, actions and intentions. So this card is pointing to the fact that you have helped create a disturbing situation in your life by giving power to something that you did not have to give power to. Regardless of who or what is bothering you, the current situation can be transformed if you cease to give it power. Focus on the positive instead of plugging into another's negative into another's negativity. Plug it into the power of light and love. Send light and love to all concerned and visualize yourself energetically detaching from them. You can start to create heaven on earth right now by simply making love your focus. In doing so, you will attract loving people and situations into your life. So again, it's quite a powerful message. And for me, this card, again, if in relation to self-love, is kind of similar to what I said in the first pile, that if you are feeling very negative about life or yourself, then this card is saying, I liked actually the way it says, unplug yourself. I'm a very visual person, so I might try that actually. So you could always visualize the negativity, because I think it's quite an NLP thing to do. And if you find yourself having more negative thoughts, because we can't always eradicate negative thoughts, maybe some people can, they're going to come and go, but it's whether we want to listen to it. So maybe you can imagine like a plug, and you can kind of unplug it when you find that you're having negative thoughts. And as I said in the first video, when we're under a lot of stress and pressure, self-care, self-love is very, very important. And I think sometimes people might think that self-love is really indulgent, but it's not. It's about really accepting yourself. It's like if you had a friend who was having a difficult time, you'd be really positive and you'd want to help them and you'd try to encourage them. So it's about giving back all of this nurturing energy to yourself. And also as well, because I was talking about this with a mentor, and it's something that I'm slowly trying to do. So if you're in a negative situation, obviously we feel angry and fed up, but sometimes maybe these people need healing. So it's about sending light out to the world, sending like a light bubble around yourself, sending a light bubble to other people, maybe praying. I mean, I'm sure lots and lots of people are doing this, praying to the world. If you do practice Reiki, you can send Reiki to the world. You can send, like I say, like a prayer for peace. But it's all about trying to tap into the positivity and trying to look at all the beauty. And again, it kind of goes in to the first pile about flowers and your garden and nature. Nature's very, very good for your well-being. So, you know, literally it's like smelling the flowers. Like obviously we're getting into autumn, and you know, maybe it's recognizing all the beautiful changing colors of the tree. And you know, when we think about earth and how magical earth is, it is a very beautiful place. Okay, so the second card, as I said, is the Magician. Now the Magician is such a wonderful card because the Magician is, for me, my interpretation is about manifesting. So with manifesting, because it is a big buzzword, it is also bringing in the positivity and bringing in changes to your life. But also, and I've realised this recently, if you are in a negative space or with negative people, and you can't kind of get out of that loop, sometimes we can manifest negative as well. You know, we can not that anybody would want to do that necessarily, or unconsciously would want to do that, but that's what can happen. I don't know whether you're interested in human design. I don't know that much about it, but I'm a manifesting generator, which means I can manifest things very easily. But I've also realised that obviously I can manifest good, but then equally you can manifest all sorts of things, negativity included. So it's about being able to, as the first card said, I suppose, unplug it. So if you feel now that you need to kind of take that time to retreat, because the autumn and the winter seasons are all about kind of, I'm trying to think of the word, slowing down, you know, all the plants slow down and die off. And it's about kind of retreating inwards. So that can be like feeling warm, feeling cozy. So basically this card is saying that you have all the magic, that you can bring into your life what you want. You can create what you want if you're wanting to, you know, and also it's about success as well. So it's about successful beginnings. So if you're new to self-love or self-care, then it's highly likely that it's going to be really successful for you, and it's going to be really good for you as well. And I'd be intrigued as well to see if you were drawn to a particular colour, because obviously each of these colours symbolise a different chakra. So for example, if you are drawn to red, maybe you need to do more grounding, and that's part of your self-love and self-care. If you're connected to the heart, which is green, maybe you obviously the heart is all about love, it's about nature, it's about being in nature, and it is about self-love, which is a big thing. It's not just about love in a relationship, it's love for ourselves, because obviously when we love ourselves in a healthy way, then we are going to radiate this love, and we're going to attract more love and positivity to ourselves, which I find really interesting. And again, maybe you're drawn to the third eye, which is all about your intuition. It's also about thoughts as well, so equally negative and positive, but it's about listening to insights. It's about listening to that intuition that tells us about something. So maybe intuitively you're drawn to different things to help with your self-love and your self-care. Trying to think what else I can say. And then maybe it's the orange one, which is a sacral chakra, which is all about sensuality, your sexuality, your creativity and sensualness and creativity. So maybe doing more creative things. And it's interesting because the next card does fit this. So maybe you want to do more joyful things. Maybe you want to play more. Maybe, you know, you want to do more sensual self-care pleasure. Maybe, you know, you want to have some nice body oils, or you want a massage, or I don't know, but, you know, or maybe you want to do just creative things. Maybe that is good for you. Maybe that makes you feel better and feel more self-love. Also, maybe, I also think as well, sometimes wearing these colours is good as well. Like I am particularly autumn, I love like these deep oranges, I love yellows, green as well, and then at the minute there's lots of like kind of purpley things, and also that colour can, I think, because I've read books about colour therapy, can also help with your healing and your self-care. So the last card is the Page of Cups. So the Page of Cups can be a child. It can be a child in your life who is very sensitive, very caring, very creative. Or, as you can see in this picture, he's doing a painting. He's got all these colours on the floor. So maybe you love painting. Maybe you want to start thinking about doing more creativity, because I did hear somewhere that about painting or being artistic. It's not about being like Picasso, for example. It's the process of being creative and drawing and writing. I mean, I'd love to paint, but part of me thinks, well, I wouldn't even know what to paint. But it's more about the process of it rather than the actual outcome at the end. Because even if I just did a painting and did a few dots, that's fine. It's more about that creative process. I really like adult drawing books because I find you really focus on the drawing. And through an organisation that I work with, the Peace Foundation, they at the minute are doing mindful drawing, and there was a really interesting, I'm going to stop waffling in a minute. There was a really interesting PDF that we got about doodling and what doodling means. You know, like if you doodle flowers or stars or whatever. So it's just about the process of these things rather than the actual masterpiece, for example. But yeah, so I hope you found those messages helpful, and I'm going to move on to pile 3 now. Welcome to pile 3. and this is clear quartz. And in this one, we've got relationship, the Five of Michael and the Sun. Okay, so let's have a look at relationship. I don't know whether I've actually pulled this card before. Again, it's very blue. It's got a dolphin, and I'm assuming it's about the sea, but we will find out. If you're struggling to find loving and meaningful relationship, it may be worth checking on the relationship you have with yourself. For all of our relationships with others mirror the relationship we have with ourselves. So if you feel that something is lacking in your relationship with another, you will often find the same thing is lacking within you. So when you find love and meaning within yourself, you will see love and meaning within others. All transforms when we transform. Wow, I like that. That's a lovely message. So again, in pile 2, I spoke about self-love and how self-love is really important, and it's healthy self-love. And when we truly love ourselves and accept ourselves and are happy with ourselves, then this kind of radiates out. And I've always believed that, you know, for us to have relationships with people, especially, you know, romantic relationships, etc., you know, we need to love ourselves before we can love somebody else, and also accept love from other people. So this seems very poignant for this particular stone and for this particular meaning of the reading. So for me, this is about looking at your relationship with yourself. If you feel that, you know, you need to take that time out to really to work on loving yourself. And also because I do think this is kind of connected to the next card. If you find that you're in a situation which is not the most positive or is not good for you, then I suppose the biggest act of self-love that you can do and self-care is to kind of step out of it and kind of step away from it and give yourself that breathing space. Because at the end of the day, it's not selfish to have boundaries. It's not selfish to think about yourself. And I know it can be very difficult when you've got children and you've got a busy job and demands, but I think from my own experience of what I've experienced in life, that's probably when it's the most important. That's when it's most important that you do truly step up your self-care and you truly think of your needs and your heart. So I hope you like that message. And then, as I said, the next card is the Five of Michael. So the Five of Michael is, there's a situation that doesn't serve you. So this could be the situation about how you feel about yourself. It could be a situation with people around you. And whatever is going on, because the Michael suit is all about our thoughts. It's about how we communicate. It's about our ideas. So if you are having negative thoughts about yourself, if you're in a situation where it's kind of draining for you, then this card is saying that it's okay for you to release the attachment to this situation. It's release the attachment to the outcome. So if it's overwhelming and you think, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that, obviously that's, a lot of us are time poor, aren't we? So maybe this is, rather than thinking, as I said in the previous one about artwork, rather than thinking about self-care as in you've got to go to the hairdressers and have your hair done and, you know, you've got to do your nails and all the rest of it, which is obviously part of self-care and self-love, it's also about just doing it in small bits. So literally 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, can you do something that brings you joy? Can you spend 5 minutes meditating? Can you spend 5 minutes writing in a journal what things that are positive about yourself, things that you love about yourself? Do you love the fact that you're a good friend? Do you love the fact that you are a good employee? Do you love the fact that you're a good mum or a good dad? Or do you love the fact that you've got beautiful long nails? I don't know, you know, I think you'll kind of get the gist. But yeah, just it's about building on that as well. And it's also about because this card is about wanting more upliftment. Now, if you've got a situation where there's lots of difficulties going on around you, that's not always, we can't always avoid these situations. But in this picture, which I love this card, because it's not, fives are generally about conflict, and this is not the easiest of cards, but he's got a hoover. And in this card, in the bigger description, it says that Michael is using a hoover to vacuum all the negative energy around you. So again, if you're a visual person, maybe you can do it for other people and do it for yourself. And it might sound really silly, but I'm a very, imagine all the negativity moving away. Imagine putting like a beautiful white light around you, or sage yourself, sage your room, or just, I suppose it's just about, it's also about releasing as well, and kind of letting things go, which I've spoke about in the other two piles as well, about just letting go of things. And also I've just noticed in this card, we've got like the beautiful, the sun. I'm assuming that the sun is rising, or is it setting? I'm not sure. Also as well, we do have a full moon coming up, and it is in Aries. So Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So Aries is a sign, and this is generally would put themselves first because they're the first sign in the zodiac. So it would be and obviously Aries is ruled by Mars, yeah. So that is all the fire energy. So it would be a really good time to do a burning ritual, to release anything. Write down what you want to release about yourself, about your self-care. What is it that you just kind of just want to get rid of? And you could always write down what it is, and then obviously you can release it in a burning ritual outside, obviously. Or you could just simply scream it to the moon if you look enough to see the moon. I don't think we're going to see it over the next few days when it does occur, because it's a bit cloudy here. But yeah, I hope that's another way that you can do it. And then we've got the beautiful sun. Now, the sun is such a beautiful card. It's really positive. When the sun makes things grow, it's happiness. So if you do release the attachments, if you release any negativity about yourself or about the situations that you're in, this is all about just glowing. It's it's about happiness. And we've got 3 people there. So if it's celebrating with other people, if it's doing things with other people, I've just noticed as well, one of the women is pregnant, which for me is about creativity, birthing things. Also, the sun as well can be about letting things come to you more. But it's just mainly about, it's just really, I have such a happy, positive card. And I think it's also as well about, going into a bit more of a positive situation as well, and into more happiness. Maybe you might find that when you start to practice loving yourself and releasing things, that by the summer, for example, maybe you might start to notice a difference, because obviously things don't happen overnight. I don't always practice self-care, but obviously I'm trying to, and I'm trying to do that, and practicing self-love, and it's a process, isn't it, really? So I hope you found these readings beneficial, and if you'd like to book with me, then obviously I'll put my details below. But more than anything, thank you for watching, and if you'd like to subscribe, obviously it helps me and helps my channel. And have a lovely day.